Yes, it did flow right into my talk. Cahill and Delene.
Delene.
That's it.
Let's give them another round of applause. Well, can love break your heart? I'm sure some of you were wondering, now, what is Rev Jackie talking about? Why in the world would she have that as the title of a Sunday talk? Well, you'll see. You will see. And first, I'd like to ask the question, what do a Buddhist monk, a unity minister, and a 20-something poet laureate have in common?
Love.
Love, absolutely. They have love in common. From Lessons of the Lotus, it is not love that can cause pain and hurt. It is the lack of genuine love. Let's say that again. It is not love that can cause pain and hurt. It is the lack of genuine love. Love can never break your heart. Never. Because love is the divine energy of healing. What did our co-founder Charles Fillmore say? Love is the greatest harmonizing power in the universe, right? The greatest harmonizing power in the universe. I'd like you to think back on past experiences of love. It's likely that perhaps your first experience was with your family of origin. What were some of the most wonderful, exquisite experiences when you were growing up? And then what were some of the most painful and hurtful? When you think of love in the context of family, do you immediately go to the reflections of the exquisite experiences or the painful ones? It is likely that your reflections are of the exquisite, wonderful experiences. The experiences of being comforted by a parent or brother or sister, when you fell and bumped your head or scraped your knee, or when you came home from school and smelled the aroma of your favorite dessert. Mine was peach cobbler. Baking in the oven. Whatever your experiences, it's likely that you went to those wonderful smells, those exquisite experiences first. When you think of the painful or hurtful experiences, the experiences where you were punished for something or when you received a scolding for doing something that you had been told not to do, how have these influenced your view of what characterizes love? These painful experiences are what Bhante Wamala referred to as attachments. They're not characteristics of true love. They're attachments. Because we know some of the characteristics of true love are what? Patience, kindness, compassion, generosity, creativity, thoughtfulness, perseverance. Those are the characteristics that we know of true love. And if love doesn't bring comfort, it's not love. In pure love, anxiety is absent. Instead of emotional reaction, there is calm response. I like what Bhante says. I had the opportunity to meet Bhante many years ago, the Buddhist monk, when I was in seminary in Lee Summit at Unity Village. And this is a story that he shared. He said, "When my mother died, I went through much pain. I fainted when I heard the news. I cried for days. I thought it was because I loved her. Later, I realized that my love had been lost in the desire that my mother's life continue for my own comfort and warmth. I wouldn't say it is wrong to feel that way, but as I went deeper into my sadness, I realized that my pain resulted from my selfish interest in her rather than from my selfless relationship. This is a very fine line for a mind to understand," he went on. He said, "I meditated every day to ease my pain. My mind began to get clearer and my emotions settled. When the sadness and anxiety moved away, calm, pleasant feelings arose in me again. Now, I could just smile with a pure feeling of love for her. I began to realize the conflict between my wish to see her alive and her own journey of life. She has the right to move on in her journey. Why should her death traumatize me? With love, I could wish her a happy journey." It was a comforting feeling. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah. Love is the substance from which the entire universe was and is continuously created. When we tap into that which only heals, only restores, only brings forth its beauty, we multiply the love in our lives. On the other hand, when we are attached to the pain and the hurt as a result of the inner turmoil we experience through loss of a relationship or the expectations in a relationship that is called heartbreak, the stronger the selfish attachment, the stronger the heartbreak will be. The stronger the selfish attachment, the stronger the heartbreak will be. And so, my friends, in our daily lives, we have been socialized to mistake selfish attachment as an essential characteristic of love. Because of this, we believe that it is love that breaks our hearts. Only selfishness can break the heart, because selfishness is the hook in conditional love. It's the hook in conditional love. Unconditional love, what we know as divine love, has no such hooks. It doesn't have any hooks. Therefore, it can't break your heart. We can all certainly relate to what Bonte was saying when he shared what he went through with his mother when she died. I can certainly relate to that. As much as we would like to think that we are unattached to our loved ones, the reality is that we, in our human experience, are attached. Yes? Yes. We experience hooks in our love relationships. What are some of the selfish hooks? When I was writing this, I began to chuckle. What are some of the selfish hooks that you have in your love relationships? Like keeping score of the number of times that he missed your birthday or your anniversary, or the number of times that she missed your birthday, or holding on to the belief that receiving expensive gifts demonstrates that he loves you or she loves you. Well, Bonte says to get over a heartbreak, you need to find a way to let go of your selfish attachment. But how do we do that? We've been socialized to have these attachments, right? We've been socialized from the time we were little kids. You know, oh, if I'm good and if my mommy really loves me, she'll give me ice cream. That's a selfish attachment. An attachment. So how do we do that? How do we get rid of those selfish attachments? Well, Eric Butterworth suggests that we cultivate non-resistance. And in his book, The Concentric Perspective, he says, and he is quoting the Buddha, "The man who foolishly does me wrong, I will return to him the protection of my most ungrudging love. And the more evil comes from him, the more good shall go from me." Isn't that beautiful? Yes. Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi said, what? Love conquers hate. Yes. Love conquers hate. And even though the human tendency is to get even when someone hurts us, when someone breaks our heart, Butterworth, King, the Buddha, Jesus, and others have said the only way we can ever get even with another is to what? Love. To bless. To forgive. If we don't, we will become slaves. We will become slaves. So, my friends, let's release the attachment to having to be right when someone wrongs you. Let go of it and let love flow, as our musicians sang. Let love flow unobstructed from within. Each time you let go and let love flow, you develop unconditional love to replace the selfish attachment that you might have mistaken for love. Love can never break your heart. True love can only heal it. And I'd like to share this poem, this powerful poem from our 20-something poet laureate, Amanda Gorman. And the title of this particular poem is Hymn for the Hurting. Everything hurts. Our hearts shadowed and strange. Minds made muddied and mute. We carry tragedy, terrifying and true. And yet none of it is new. We knew it as home, as horror, as heritage. Even our children cannot be children, cannot be. Everything hurts. It's a hard time to be alive and even harder to stay that way. We're burdened to live out these days while at the same time blessed to outlive them. This alarm is how we know we must be altered, that we must differ or die, that we must triumph or try. Thus, while hate cannot be terminated, it can be transformed into a love that lets us live. May we not just grieve but give. May we not just ache but act. May our signed right to bear arms never blind our sight from shared harm. May we choose our children over chaos. May another innocent never be lost. And so, my friends, as we close our discussion on love this morning, I'd like to remind us that when we love, we prosper. Yes. We prosper. Reverend Eric Butterworth, I was able to meet him once in New York City at Avery Fisher Hall. Powerful, powerful unity minister. He said, in the concentric perspective, at the still point within you, there is a veritable fountain of healing, prospering, love, protective energy. Potentially ready and divinely willing instantly and constantly to solve, resolve, and dissolve any human problem. And so our brother Eric is saying, in effect, that the concentric process of love from within us, flows endlessly through each of us, limited only by what? Our own unwillingness to let it flow. Love flows unless we obstruct it. It is not love that stops. It is you and me who stop love. Remember, it is you and me who stop love. Love restores our soul. It mends broken hearts. When we allow it to flow unconditionally from within us, love can never, never break your heart. And so our affirmation for the week is, let's say this together. I practice unconditional love, the one true love that comforts and heals. Let's say that again together loudly. I practice unconditional love, the one true love that comforts and heals. Thank you so much. Many blessings.
Thank you, Reverend Jackie. We all need a lot more love in our hearts always. We're going to do a song by Leslie